Royal and humble greetings to each and every one. On this video, we're going to be talking about Amamfengu, or your quote-unquote Fingo people. We're going to be looking at who these people are, where they come from, how they became part of the greater Xhosa, the Fingo vow and accepting Christianity through Fingo land. Now, although some people believe the name Amamfengu is an offense and associated with colonization, some people embrace the name and use it to identify themselves. Amamfengu are not a nation, it is a group of different clans that also came from Abambo or Embo. If you don't know Abambo, make sure to watch our video called The Embo Kingdom of Africa. The link is in the description. It is said that the term Fingo comes from the Xhosa verb ukumfenguza, which means we are destitute or wanderers. Now these were several groups of tribes or clans which had been broken and scattered by the armies of the Zulu king Shaka. These groups consisted clans such as Bele, Hlubi Zizi, and Tlangwini, who came to the land of Xhosa, fleeing from attacks during the mfecane wars in the 1800s. Xhosa at that time were led by King Hintsa kaKhawuta. Now if you also don't know who King Hintsa is, make sure to watch our video, The Beheaded King. King Hintsa embraced these Abambo clans, who were refugees, and ordered that they must be given food, shelter, and said, "They are my people also." They were welcomed by the Xhosa people and adopted the name Fingo, and were allocated land to settle in what is now known as Butterworth. Zizi settled in Mpenduza and Ngomanzi, amabhele in Xhosa, and Hlubi stayed with Sakhile, who was the son of King Hintsa. This proves why King Hintsa is also referred to as the Great King Hintsa. Some people also say that it was a strategic move to increase his nation, because this was during the Battle of Amalinde. 17 years later, after they had settled in Butterworth, the British Xhosa and Fingo Association, or working relations, were blemished by accusation of oppression and socio-political dynamics. This resulted to Amamfengu crossing the Great K River to the west side. It is said that all that started when the British and missionaries started telling Amamfengu that they were in the lower status in the Xhosa land and offered them protection. Now after that move, it was at that point where Xhosa people started not to get along with Amamfengu. There were many conflicts after that. Accepting Christianity played a huge role in the survival of the then endangered Amamfengu people, who found comfort in Rev John Eylif, the missionary at Butterworth, who devoted more than 30 years of his life to the tribe. In 1835, he led about 17,000 to 22,000 head of cattle to the Peddie Movement, where Amamfengu were compelled to confront the prevailing and challenging socio-political circumstances between the Xhosa, Fingo and British. They had to determine sustainable life that will be of benefit to themselves. The 14th of May is celebrated annually by the Amamfengu people as Emancipation Day, as it was the day in 1835 where they gathered under an old milkwood tree in the Peddie district in the presence of Rev John Eylif and sworn an oath to obey the Queen, to accept Christianity, and to educate their children and to support their missionaries. This agreement became known as the Fingo Oath. It is said that Amamfengu became the first Bantu in the Southern Africa to plant with and to use plows, as demonstrated to them by missionaries. At this time, most of them were Wesleyans. A small group moved to present-day Tsitsikama and carried their Christian culture with them. Some to Grahamstown, where they fought on the side of the British in the 8th Frontier War around 1850, and were then rewarded with land in a village called Fingo. Those who were educated went to work at the harbour in Port Elizabeth and Cape Town and established communities there. Amamfengu can also be found in Zimbabwe, brought there by Cecil John Rhodes when he was taking over Matabele land in 1893, and the Matabele people chose to take up arms. He knew that Amamfengu had way more experience through previous wars and were supplied and trained by the British. Now the Fingo land was at the borderlands in the far south of Transkei. However, Transkei was divided into territories known as Idutjwa Reserve, and Butterworth was restructured into divisions: Tsomo and Ngamakwe for Fingoland, Willowvale and Qentane for Gcaleka land. Today, almost all the Mfengu people have intermarried with other ethnic groups, mainly the Xhosa and the Zulu. Now looking at Rev John Eylif, he was a missionary and was born in England in 1797 and came to the Cape in Southern Africa in 1820 and relocated to the Eastern Cape in 1821. His tactics of tribal division or divide and rule between Amamfengu and their natural allies, the Gcaleka, became very clear at the mission station in Butterworth. He used some of the Christianized Amamfengu as his messengers and informants. Those who were Christians were divided against those who were non-Christians, and Amamfengu were also separated from their families who were non-Christians. One of Rev John Eylif's son, who was William Eylif, was the Secretary of the Bantu Affairs in 1878 and also served in the Frontier and Basotho Wars. That's why we have names like Mount Eylif or Peddie, a fort that was built to protect the British and their allies Amamfengu, and named after Colonial John Peddie, or Butterworth, named after Joseph Butterworth Owen. Now that was Amamfengu. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Until the next one. Thank you for watching.